Thank you for joining me. Today I'd like to discuss a health issue that forms in the urinary system called renal calculi, more commonly known as kidney stones. Now, before we answer what a kidney stone is, let's go ahead and quickly review the four main structures of the urinary system. So here we have our kidneys, the main worker in producing urine. Oops, that looks bad, but that's okay. The ureters that allow the urine or recycled solute to move into the urinary bladder, which will hold it until we are able to release it through the urethra. Urethra. Oops, almost misspelled that. So, what a kidney stone is when the crystals of salts present in urine solidify into insoluble stones. And you're right, that is exactly as bad as that sounds. So when urine travels through our ureters into our urinary bladder and then out our urethra, it has a chance to clump and create these stones and essentially block them. Now, an interesting thing to note is that there are a few different types of kidney stones. There are calcium stones, struvite stones, uric acid stones, and cystine stones. And they all kind of fall under that general term of kidney stone since they come somewhat from the kidney essentially. Now, it's important to note the four different types of stones because certain conditions will create these certain stones. And it's important to know that so we can prevent it, or if that is the current situation, you can move forward correctly and fix it. Uh, Now, kidney stones are bad because they will, as you can see here, they can block the passage and will prevent or make it very painful to urinate, which is just not good. Um, Thankfully, we have different types of treatments depending on the size of kidney stones. That is also another thing. Kidney stones can vary from being rather small to pretty big to uh, very large. In fact, one of the fun facts I have is that the largest kidney stone ever passed was over 5 inches at its widest point. That is horrendously big in comparison. So they can get rather large. And thankfully, I'll cover the treatments for these. So I hope you're paying attention. Um, for our smaller stones, very small ones, they can be passed by just drinking water and having that um, force of the urine coming through the ureters or through the urinary bladder or the urethra slowly push it out. That's kind of what's referred to as when you pass a stone, is that you're just slowly pushing it out of your system. Um, and for slightly larger ones, there we go, found it. Um, Doctors will prescribe pain medications so that way you can more easily force it out. Even going up to prescribing alpha blockers to relax your ureters to allow passage of those larger stones. Um, for even larger stones, maybe not this large, but maybe like maybe like that large, right? Because that, if we take that and we move something about that size over here, that's pretty huge. Something like this size traveling through, awful. Thankfully, there are multiple treatments for those larger types of stones, um, and they're not great. Aside from one, they're all pretty rough. Uh, Doctors will take a scope and pass it through the urethra, and they will, find where the stone is. Let's say it's here. They'll take a scope and they will pass it through the urethra, find it. They're like, okay, it's here. Then they will take special tools and slowly shave it away. And that is a painful process, and that takes a while. I mean, thankfully, you want to be awake for it because, like I said, it'd be a terribly painful process. Um, there is also surgery, so they can, open up the body, find the stone, remove it that way. Uh, if it's essentially unpassable, and thankfully, there's a new treatment, not a new treatment, but something I wasn't aware of until I read about it in our book, was called shockwave lithotripsy. I might be pronouncing that incorrectly, so I apologize. But it is a procedure in which they use high energy shock waves to disintegrate the kidney stone, and they essentially just pulverize it. And it's about over a half hour to hour long process where they just pulverize it with these sound waves and they just disintegrate it, and it's a lot easier to pass through. And that's the major treatments. So make sure you drink lots of water, you eat a well-balanced diet so you don't get these stones. And to end this video, I'd like to leave you with the other two fun facts that I have. Um, More than 1 in 10 people will experience a kidney stone in their life. And kidney stones apparently have been reported to increase in reports as much as 30% in the past decade. So in the past decade, kidney stones are popping up 30% more than they have before. So do with that what you will. Make sure you just, drink your water. Don't get kidney stones. All right. Thank you.